For years now, I've fought alongside Duke Robert the Fox to prevent his weakness from dooming the Norman cause in Italy. Finally, after all this time, I've been given the opportunity to solidify my hold over Capua and the surrounding lands. New possibilities arise as well, as the lords of North Africa threaten Christian lands in Sardinia, who no doubt require a powerful lord to come to their aid. Hello Wanderers, welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay experience. My name is Stray, and we will be once again stepping into the shoes of Duke Richard of Capua. Now, you may remember last time where we successfully defended the Norman lands here in southern Italy from Duchess Matilda of Tuscany, as well as an invasion from North Africa, as well as making good on our own ambitions and conquering the county of Salerno for ourselves. We were also able to manage to rid ourselves of the pesky Count Sergios of Napoli and have now taken a direct control over all three of these counties. Before we jump into the events of the rest of the episode, though, I do want to take a brief moment to look at some of these side characters that have played a subtle but important role on the story, including some members of our own family, our court, and elsewhere in the world. So, first up, let us look at our family here. And as you may remember, our wife is Duchess Fredesenda of Capua. She is of the House of Hauteville, and she is one of Duke Robert's sisters. Now, we haven't really seen much from Duchess Fredesenda. We haven't had too many events that have had her playing a role in the story. And I kind of like to think that from a roleplay perspective, this is due to the fact that Duke Richard is so concerned with other matters that he doesn't really pay a lot of attention to his wife. I don't think they really particularly get along, and I think that Duke Richard is something of an absent husband. As you can see, Fredesenda has at some point turned towards the drink, which I think is understandable. Although it has an ale mug here, I imagine that she's been more into the wine stores here that we have in Capua. So we don't really know too much about her. Really, her story has been kind of set off to the side, and what is clear is that there's no romance here. This was definitely a political marriage, and Duke Richard himself is clearly not the best of husbands. We shall now go to look at the lives of our children. As you have probably seen throughout the episodes, our son Richard Drengot is a very capable warrior and leader. He is a skilled tactician. He is extremely skilled in battle. And he seems to be a pretty decent person altogether. A good heir, I think, as he is diligent, temperate, cynical. He's quite a bit like his father in a lot of ways. He's currently actually learning as well from our Bishop Orderic, is teaching him a little bit more of how to rule as well. So I think altogether, Duke Richard is pretty happy with the way Jordan has been living his life so far. One slight cause for concern is Jordan has married Emma de Hauteville, and the two of them I don't think have been really getting along too well either. I think that there's kind of a bit of a similarity between the way that the marriage between Duke Richard and Fredesenda has gone and Jordan and Emma. As you may remember, there was a time while Jordan was imprisoned in the lands of Count Lanciano that Emma attempted to flirt with us and we had to put her down. Now, I'd like to think that that was maybe a moment of weakness on her part, and that she had misguided concerns perhaps for her husband, but I don't really think that they get along particularly well, and that probably is why they really only have one child together. I think Jordan spends most of his time off at war, leaving Emma here to attend matters at home. Our second son, of course, is Jonathan, who is a charismatic negotiator, a brave man, but content with his place, though sometimes fickle. He is also married to Melisenda de Amalric, an Occitan woman, and together they have two children, Sibylla and Jonathan. I should go and point out that Jordan's daughter, Fredesenda, does seem to be a bit of a bossy lass, and she currently has a martial focus. I don't know if she has a tutor. No, she does not. I think so. Normally in these times, a girl would not be given a martial education, and I think in a roleplay sense we will hold to that, but I think within the story, the context of the story here, considering who her father is, Jordan being such an able knight, I think perhaps we've sent young Fredesenda off to be trained in matters of diplomacy, but I think she's been sneaking out to kind of watch and learn from her father and the rest of the knights. So even though we're going to suggest within the story that she has been sent to be a ward of, perhaps Emma or one of the other women of the court, I think from a mechanical standpoint, we're going to make her father her guardian, and we'll explain that just as her kind of sneaking out to learn the ways of war, because she's very much like an Arya Stark type character, not really concerned with gender roles and things like that. She likes to take that kind of matters into her own hands. So we're going to keep her with her martial education focus, and we're just going to kind of explain things in that way. So there's that. Let's go back to Jonathan over here. So he does have two children, and I think between these two there is a little bit more of a good relationship. Jonathan does fight in our wars as well. He is an aspiring blade master, and the two of their children seem to be growing up quite well. Sibylla here is learning Italian as well, I believe. We will set her up with a ward. I think that perhaps out of all of our diplomatic people, well, I think that maybe our court tutor here, maybe Ansia, I think that would make sense for her to be the one teaching young Sibylla here. Now we've got Jonathan here. He doesn't have an education focus, but I think because we are a house of warriors, I think we're going to set him up as a martial education. And although he's a little bit young, we're going to have him in the future learning from his uncle, Jordan. So there we go. That's those characters there. So things seem to be going well for our second son, Jonathan. Now, Bartholomew. As you may remember, Bartholomew was originally married to Roca de Hauteville. However, unfortunately, Roca died in childbirth. Let's see, how many years ago was this? 1073, 5 years ago now. And they had one child together, young Saverio Drengot, who is currently a pensive young lad. And I think we will be raising him to be a skilled scholar. Maybe a church education is in your future here. Perhaps we will put you under the teachings of Bishop Orderic, a good Norman bishop, one who has proven himself many times. So I believe that is what we are going to do there. Oh, he's Italian. Interesting, as my son is Italian too. I guess Bartholomew has really taken to the local people, but I think we want his son to be raised as a Norman, you know? I think that's important to us. So, Bartholomew, yes, he lost his wife 5 years ago, but as you may remember from last episode, he fell in love with the young woman here, Ansia Cleffing, who had actually been considered to be a witch and was about to be burned at the stake. However, we stepped in and prevented that from happening and brought her into our court as a court tutor, because Duke Richard here understands that even though some people may be of lower birth and status, they can still be useful, as was exemplified by his close friend Dinolo, who unfortunately died while accompanying us into battle with the forces of, I believe it was Tuscany. So that is there. Hopefully their marriage will go well. I'm sure that it will. And then, of course, our youngest child, our daughter, Countess Limpiasa of Nevers, who is married here to an irritable man, Count Renaud, who was mostly given the hand of Limpiasa as a political gesture, and really the two of them honestly probably are suited for each other. Limpiasa is arbitrary, deceitful, gluttonous, not a very good person, and Count Renaud doesn't really seem like that good of a person either. So the two of them hopefully will find some level of happiness together. They haven't had any children yet, but they are quite young still. So there you go. That's a little rundown of our immediate family and the things that have taken place in their own stories. We do, of course, have our brother here, Rainulf Drengot, who has been a loyal servant and good person in our family for some time here. He has fought well for us in numerous battles. He has served as our marshal for much of his life, and I don't see any reason to take him out of that position. He also has 2 children. His son, Richard Drengot, is our steward and has been doing a good job of that. He's generous, ambitious, craven, but a Midas touched. And he is a good servant of ours. He is married to Adelaide de Pontou, and the two of them do not have any children as of yet. And I can possibly see why. They also have a brother, or Richard has a brother named Robert. There are a lot of Richards and a lot of Roberts in the Norman naming scheme, so forgive me if I occasionally get a few of them mixed up. There's just way too many Richards and Roberts, I must say. But Robert here is a pretty good warrior. He is a brilliant strategist, a holy warrior, but a bit of a drunkard. He has proven himself in battle by killing Gyamar Lent Perditi, and he is just a pretty decent lad. He's chaste. I don't know if they're going to be having many children as well. He is married to Altruda Landolfidi, but the two of them do not have any children yet either. So those are the cousins of my children and my nephews, and they're good people. Now, within our court, of course, we have many, many courtiers, some of whom are more important than others, but I think the important ones are often on our council. So as you know, Bishop Orderic is a good Norman man who has served us well. He has proved himself time and time again, and we trust his advice, although we don't always listen to him. But he has served us faithfully, honestly, and if we find a chance to reward Orderic, we will do so. Jonathan, of course, our son, is our diplomat, our chancellor, and he's been doing a fairly decent job of that so far. We also have Richard, as mentioned, our brother Raynolf, but one of the last but most important characters here, and one who has played a subtle role throughout the course of this campaign, is Pandolf the Aquino, the disfigured man. He is of the House of Aquino, who once actually ruled Capua, and he is part of the Aquino family, who have served us well. Atenolf the Aquino was once our chancellor. He died in battle. They have a few brothers, a few children. In fact, I think Atenolf's child, I will raise actually myself here. Well, he's actually, you know what? We're going to raise Bishop Orderic, because he is taking a learning education. So we're going to raise him to be a good Norman lad. Maybe he will find a work in the church as well. And then, of course, we have Landolf di Aquino and Lando di Aquino. They really... Tenolf, Pandolf, Lando, and Landolf. Wow. Quite the naming scheme they've got here. I think we will perhaps find you marriage here. Between our courtiers. Obviously, we're doing this mechanically, but I like to imagine that they're just petitioning us to get married between themselves, because that makes more sense from a role-playing perspective. And we'll do the same for you here, Lando. And there you go. So perhaps we will have more Aquinos in our court in the future. So those are some of the most important characters, and obviously some of the characters who have played important roles in the rest of the campaign. Duke Robert the Fox has been an important player in all the events that have happened here, and he is no doubt going to be an important player in the future, though he is getting old. His wife did seem to have died recently of the Great Pox, and we'll see how that affects him in the future. We also have Matilda of Tuscany, who has played a fairly important role in the campaign as well, being a force from the north that has ambitions on southern Italy. And we will have to be keeping an eye on Duchess Matilda. She is incredibly powerful. She has some strong alliances here, and she recently, and I like to believe that she was the leader of these breakaway states from the Holy Roman Empire. After all, you know, you have some of these characters like the Duke of Lombardy, the Duke of Piedmont, and the Duke of Provence. But I think out of all of them, Duchess Matilda is the most powerful. And there you have it. That kind of brings us up to speed on all of the various characters that have played a role in the story so far, and who will probably be playing a role in the future as well. Obviously, we are starting to get a little bit older. We are 56 years old, but that doesn't mean that we won't have a long life ahead of us. And I'd like to think that we will have a long life ahead of us. Now it is time to consider our next move. So we will get time going here, so that's we can get some action. But I just kind of wanted to fill everybody in on the stories so far, the characters, and what has been going on with them, kind of along the side of the story of Duke Richard here. My spy master has come to me with grave news. While we do not yet know who, someone is plotting against my courtier Bibianus. Well, Bibianus, not really too concerned. He is of the House of Aquino, but not really too concerned with that. If my spy master figures something out there, then we'll look into it if we need to. So, as you may remember, in the last episode we left off, we were attempting to get a claim here on Logo Duro, because we have the idea of protecting Sardinia and potentially Corsica as well from the forces here in North Africa. If we end up taking direct control in the process, so be it. We will do what needs to be done. These are tumultuous times for the county of Napoli. Report after report arrives detailing the dire state of affairs in the area, and the peasants have started muttering about alternative solutions. We have two options here: handle the issues personally or increase tax as punishment. I think that the obvious answer is to increase our dread and suppress the unrest. That seems to be kind of the way we're going. I don't think we've really been attempting to win over the people here in Capua, Napoli, Salerno. Mostly we've been kind of ruling through fear and force of arms. So we're going to continue down that route for now. Good job, Orderic. I have prowled through documents both ancient and of less certain provenance. I have finally enough material to make the case that you are the rightful lord of the county of Logaduro. See it done. We will pay that money. We will need to save some of our money in order to pay for the ships we'll need to cross the sea, perhaps even more than once. Oh, what? This guy went independent. Things are getting mighty interesting over here, and the possibilities for expansion are rather intriguing, I believe, to Duke Robert. Apulia has made a little bit of headway there in North Africa. Interesting choice. I suppose that is why he is a lunatic. I don't see why he wouldn't just try to go for here, but that's up to him. Sergio's spinelessness has always bothered me, but recently has been getting on my nerves. Sergios Spartanos, you're not even in my court. I want to get back at him for this behavior, but what form should my reprisal take? Spread scandalous rumors? Well, he was a deviant, as you may remember. A witty poem, call out his uncouth behavior to his face. Well, he's not actually nearby, so maybe we'll just spread these rumors. Like, that's fine. Rumors rejected. What? They're not taking them seriously. People are laughing more at me. Oh dear. That didn't go as planned. That's unfortunate. We need that prestige. Maybe we should go on a hunt to get a little bit of prestige. We haven't done any hunts. We haven't gone on a pilgrimage. I don't really see too many reasons to go on a pilgrimage at this point. Poachers here in the Duke's Woods. They huddle together as I ride up with my guards, making a poor job of hiding the dead boar behind them. We did not do this, your mercy. Their blades and bows belie their words. They will hang, and their villagers will pay. Interesting. You seem to be excellent bowmen. I would increase my prowess. This animal is mine, along with fines for their lives. I think we're gonna try to do this one here. The local magistrates acquiesce. Perfect. That is exactly what we wanted. We got a little bit of money back, and we return home invigorated with a nice little boost of prestige. See, the Byzantine Empire is having a little bit of trouble there. That's up to them. And that marriage will go there. Sergios has become a constant scourge upon my life. The loathsome man plays meek only to turn around and stab me in the back. Man, I hate this guy. Curse you, Sergios. Stressing us out here. If it is a pawn for carps you are interested in, I can build you a terrific one, my lord. Then the builder has good credentials. Stop wasting my time. Is that truly the best you can give me? I think that we're going to try to make a good deal. We did. We made a great deal. So, can we win this war against the High Chief of Kairouan? Our forces, he does have more with his allies. Yes, they've got quite a few. What about our allies here? We would have to call in, I believe, most of our allies. I don't think that we would be able to get allies from elsewhere. Nor do I think that we would. You know, one thing in CK3 is that when you're playing this game normally, it just makes sense to go into every battle with the expectation that you're only going to go in when you have the advantage. I think for this, in this situation, Duke Robert may understand that he may be slightly outnumbered, but I don't think that would really affect his decision here. I think he would think that his forces are brave, strong Norman knights and well-trained men. He's got Duke Robert here to aid him as well. I think that regardless of whether we can have a guaranteed win here, I think he would do this. And honestly, I think we probably can get the win here. We shall see, though. We will raise up our armies here, and we're very quickly, I believe, going to move. Well, actually, let's see what Duke Robert's gonna do. Count Renaud joins in. It's good. Let's see if the Fox will move his armies, where he's going to move his armies. Oh, it's only going to cost us 3? I thought it was going to cost us way more than that. If we need to, we may have to purchase some mercenaries at some point, but we will deal with that afterwards. So let's look at the forces here. We are a little bit outnumbered, but I think that we probably have the better trained men. So hopefully that will give us the overall advantage here. And with any luck, his allies will be unable to come to his aid in time, and we will be able to perhaps take down their forces in separate groups. You know, if we can keep them split up, that may be everything that we need to get the win here. Beasts of the Deep. As I stroll through the gardens, I notice my grandson Saverio sitting on a rock by the carp pond, leaning down, trails his fingers through the water. A shadow stirs beneath the surface. What? Saverio Drengot dies? What? By the carp pond? What? Died in a tragic carp accident? What the hell kind of carps what have we been feeding them? Somebody please in the comments let me know how big a carp was and if it can kill an 8-year-old child, because that to me sounds a bit strange, and that is really unfortunate for poor Bartholomew. His wife died in childbirth, giving birth to Saverio, and now Saverio has died in a tragic accident. Bartholomew has not been having a lucky time of things, unfortunately. Yeah, they're sitting in the water, which is going to use up quite a bit of their supplies. That's fine for us. That should allow us to take this county here. And once we do, yep, that's all we needed there. I think now we will go straight in for the High Chieftain's land here. Hopefully our allies will be joining us directly. That should give us enough forces here. Oh, yeah, they're going to land. But they've used probably quite a bit of their supplies actually already. Yeah, okay, our allies are coming in here as well. Alright, so we're sieging down their capital. They're moving their forces through the deserts. They seem a little bit confused as to what to do in this situation. AI is not being super effective here, but I'd like to maybe chalk that up to the difficulty of managing the various forces between 3 allied armies, not knowing where the enemy is coming from. I think that they're just having trouble coordinating, preparing for an attack on us here. They do have a lot of troops, 7,000. And I think I will be a little bit concerned if they do come for us here. Are they coming north to deal with us? They are, finally. Oh, this battle might not go well for us here. But see, this is what I mean, right? Like, normally I would have avoided a battle like this in most cases, but I think it makes sense that we would fight this battle here. So let's see how well it goes. I'm gonna slow this down. We may possibly be able to win. I think we have the slight man-at-arms advantage. We have the slight advantage with the knights. Our knights do seem to be quite a bit better. I don't think we're gonna win, but I think it's... No, I don't think we're gonna be able to win this one here. So our forces are probably going to retreat. And I think we're gonna maybe retreat up here to Kairouan, or I mean Logaduro, and potentially go and siege that down. So we may have lost the one battle here. Oh, are they gonna catch us here? Oh, damn, that is unfortunate. Landolf Diakino was slain. Our heir was taken hostage. Ooh, that is unfortunate. He captured Jonathan. Damn, so we did lose, we did have our son captured there. That was an unfortunate turn of events there, as we were caught and lost that battle. Duke Richard is going to have to consider his next moves very carefully. They're asking us for a white piece. Do we accept the white piece? That's a question we're going to have to look into next time. And let me know in the comments below what you think Duke Richard would do in this situation, because he is in an interesting predicament. And I wonder how he would be dealing with this. Our son has been imprisoned, and we did lose a decisive battle there. So let me know in the comments below what you think. If you have any other comments on the episode, feel free to leave them in there. We will be back in the near future with the next episode as well, where we will see what happens in the aftermath of this decisive loss. But until the next time, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Stray, and we'll see you all in the next one.